Alright, it's a bit short video. I may add to it. This is where I'm at with the houseboat. Tearing apart the rear deck. And I cut my 2x8s back out from under the cabin. Starting to tear apart the original deck and fantail. And I tell you, when I built this, I used mismatched screws, different torque sizes. Whatever I had left over from dock bills, that's what I put on here for screw wise. So when I'm going through with some of the screws, I'm rounding up my bits because I'm putting the wrong one in. I cut both sides. I've yet to tear this side apart. Taking my good old time. One thing I did note, that rot right here, all the way up to right here. This was from water that was saturated into the, when I pulled the rear deck off, I had like 2 inches all the way around that was rotten and soft, and that water made it to here. It didn't come through here, it seeped underneath, just on this side. There's nothing really I can do about it. It's all solid over here. Just gonna have to call it good. I mean, I can't raise the cabin up to dig that out, so it's gonna have to stay. This is under the wall stud. On top of this plywood is a treated board for the wall stud. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with. Cut back both sides on a 2x8. So once I tear all this out, I'm gonna have to deflate my rear drums. You know what? Maybe I won't. No, I don't have to deflate the rear drums. Once I tear all this off, I'm gonna leave this portion of the transom on, but I'm tearing off all the deck. My next step is to go buy the 2x8s, extend it, continue my 2x6 runner, put a barrel on each side, and I can build the rear deck to install the motor. I did order my longer control cables. They've been here for 2 weeks. I just hadn't had time, and I'm hurting. You know, a lot of stuff going on. But I am extending the rear deck, taking care of some things that need to be taken care of. My trailer's still short, but extending the rear deck's only gonna add, I don't know, maybe another 60-70 pounds of weight to the rear, but it is gonna put the motor further. It's not gonna affect my center of gravity that much because I'm tongue heavy. And the copper paint is bonded in most places. Where it's roughed up really good, it bonded, but there's a few spots where it flaked off. I think it's on the other side because I didn't sand it good enough, you know. But sanding it did help the bond. There's a few spots where it flaked off easy. I've been coming by it and rubbing and scratching it every day, and so far it's holding up because nothing sticks to high density polyethylene. See right here, I didn't sand right there, so it's not going to stick. Right here, I didn't sand right here either. But my trick to get it to stick, I let the bottom growth grow on it first. I let it grow thick. That's not wasn't why I let it go thick, but it just so happened I did. 6 months in the water. You've seen the video of how bad the bottom growth was. So instead of removing all the bottom growth, I buffed it with a wire wheel, lightly buffed it, because the bottom growth bonds to HDPE very well. That's the only thing I found that bonds to HDPE. So I just came back, wire wheeled it, scuffed it, and the paint is sticking to the layer of bottom growth that is adhered to the barrels. If that makes sense, we're going to try this out. Once I get this able to go back in the water and driving on its own again, I'm probably going to leave it in the water for a month. And that's going to be the test. I'll pull out in a month. Now, I do know when I push it off the trailer, it's going to scratch off where the guides are. I can't do nothing about that because I can't launch this like a regular boat. I can't back it in until this flows off the trailer. I've tried that. What happens, I have to back it into about right here, just to where the tires under the water, and I have to push the rest. Because if I back in anything past right here, the back floats off the trailer and it's putting all the pressure on these front barrels. And what that does, it flexes the trailer so the boat wants to lean to one side or the other, and it makes me feel like it's going to flip off the trailer before it even gets in the water. So I don't chance it. I may try to, maybe just the launch I'm at too, because the further I back down, the launch curves. And maybe it's just an illusion, it's making me think it's going to flip. I just do not want to take a chance. So I've been pushing this thing off the trailer. It's not too hard to push. Basically since I installed the plastic barrels on the boards, it's plastic on plastic sliding, so I have to push about 200 pounds of force, and then it starts to move. And once you get this thing moving 1 mile an hour, it goes itself, and it's fine. But I will try a different launch instead of the crappy one I always use. But anyway, that's a problem for another day. I'm tearing apart the rear deck so that I can go buy the 2x8s. And how am I funding this? Well, over the past year, my channel's been monetized, and I've accumulated $300 in my bank account from you people watching videos. Now, $300 is not a lot, but it's just enough to cover the lumber costs I need. So because of y'all views, I'm doing this upgrade now. So all the people say you can make money on YouTube. You can. It's just you have to be a very, very big channel to pay your bills with YouTube. And I'm not a big channel, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with staying small. My goal isn't to make money and have you guys pay for all this. It'd be nice, but I'm a firm believer in work for what you have. So I'm rambling. I kind of went off subject, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna end this video here. If I do end it here, I want to thank y'all for viewing. Thank y'all for all the support. It's awesome. Mushroom growing in there. Look at that. Anyway, appreciate all of y'all. If I decide to come back and add some more to this video, I'll go ahead and add it. If not, it'll be in the next video. I don't know how much work I'm gonna get done. I'm tired, I'm hurting, but the weather is nice. It's 90 Fahrenheit, but it's not as humid. We got what's called a cool front passing, which doesn't really, it did cool our temperatures. We're this time of year we're normally in the upper 90s, and I want to say today we're like 91, but the air is drier, so I'm trying to take advantage of that. Can't cut my grass because the yard is just too wet. Everything's mud, saturated. It rains every day, but today we had no rain. I did spray a lot of weed killer, which is again straight off target. But anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. Appreciate y'all. See y'all on the next one. All right, I got the rear toe apart. I'm leaving this board. Debating whether I should change this one out, cut this all the way off. Debating. In hindsight, I wish I wouldn't have built the center one like this just for the rear. But it's too late to change that. It's not really too late to change. It's a lot of work to change that. I don't know. I may do it, but that's a lot of barrels I gotta undo. Not really. 2 barrels. I figure if I can run a regular 2x6 in here, I have to section everything. Put a regular 2x6. Actually, it'd have to be off the trailer for that. Those barrels got to come out. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. I could, but I'm not. So I'm just gonna build off of what I got. That I just made my decision for myself. In order to change this out and section my floor joist, my main beams, for that 2x6 to cradle in there. I don't know. I'll look at it real good, but I'm pretty sure I have to remove these 2 barrels to do it, which I can do it while it's on the trailer. I can jack up the rear. I ain't got much to block off of anymore. I can jack up the rear, remove the barrels, put a 2x6 just like a regular. Could do that. I don't know. I'll decide what I'm gonna do. But that will allow me to splice in, get rid of this 2x6 right here, splice in about 3 foot in on the outsides to add a new 2x6, double splice. That'd be the right way to do it. I'm gonna decide, because now my transformer's gonna be way out here, the motor's gonna be way back here now. If I do that, that will allow me to add 3 barrels, but I will have to carefully measure my motor height. That means I can't raise my motor higher because I won't have the diverter. If I add 3 barrels, right now my motor height's even at the bottom of the barrel, and that was at the height with this transom installed, that one. So my transom was this tall, and that puts the height of my cavitation fin at the bottom of the barrel. if I leave this diverter here and just continue the diverter without putting a barrel, my motor can go much higher. I can put my cavitation fin about even with here, and will give me a less of a draft. That was the goal. And now I'm thinking, man, the extra barrel buoyancy would be nice, but then that means my motor has to stay low. So I don't believe I'm gonna go that route. I think I'm just add my 2 barrels to the outsides, but I still may get rid of that transom. That means I'm gonna have to temporarily put a brace across here to stop these from spreading, deflate these barrels, remove this 2x6. I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out. I'll get back with y'all. See y'all in a bit, or tomorrow. That is it, I'm done. Whoever built this transom, he wasn't playing. He used way too many screws, a lot of hidden ones. But I got the original transom, well, the original rear off. I put 2 temporary 2x4s to spread the load to stop these from moving. Now my next step, I'm gonna make a splice on the outside of this 2x6 to put another 2x6 here, and I'm gonna, when I put my outside 2x8, I better continue a 2x6 here to make the splice to hold the second set of barrels. And the third one I'm gonna leave alone. I'm not adding a third barrel. After careful consideration, if I add a third barrel, then that means I can't raise my motor higher. And that was part of the purpose of doing this, was to raise the motor higher. So I'm leaving it like it is. New transom. Let's see, a barrel. I think these barrels are 36 inches or 35 and a half. Not inflated. About 35 inches. So with inflation, let's just say we're going to be at 36 inches. That's how much longer the boat's going to be, at 36. So we're adding on by 11 inches to the rear of the boat. So it'll be about a foot total by the time I add my capping, a little over a foot total. So instead of a 22 foot, it's going to be a 23. So I guess my next step is tomorrow, if the weather's good and not working on anything else, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a splice. Probably before I make the splice on the side, I'm going to temporarily put a splice across the top to hold my 2x6 in place, because I have to put a strap to hold the other barrel. What I'm thinking about doing is getting rid of the strap and put one really wide strap to hold the backs of both sides. That way I only have one strap to deal with. And then once the barrels are strapped, then I can put this, I can sandwich my splice over this. I'm probably go two foot that way and all the way to the end this way, and it's all gonna be bolted together and make it as strong as I can make it. I go, well, I'll probably go as far as that 2x4 right there, if I could tie into that. And then the rest is gonna be easy. I would say my steering cable I can't really get out right now unless I do some cutting. But let's just say my new transom, I'm gonna have just enough steering cable to put the engine off the back of the new transom. And as I mentioned, I got 2 foot longer control cables. So I'm not gonna have a fantail anymore. I could plan to build a fantail, but I'm already long enough for this trailer. So it's to be no fantail. The engine's gonna be hanging off straight off the back of the boat. And that's gonna give me a little more deck space on the rear, which I didn't really need the more deck space, but the more the better. I mainly wanted a little bit more flotation. These barrels should be able to half draft. That's 225 pounds each of flotation. So I'm gonna have 500 pounds more flotation in the rear. Roughly 500 pounds. And then plus my motors will be higher up and further back. So I'm very happy with the result. Like I said, I want to change all this, get rid of this completely. That's a lot of fabrication to do on the trailer. I only want to do this once, so I should do it and do it right. Not that it's wrong the way I'm doing it, but if I add another barrel here, as mentioned, I'm not gonna better raise my motor up higher. I'm gonna have to leave my motor at the height it is, and I have a problem now where I'll launch, the motor goes under the water. So I'm just gonna continue this diverter and let it come straight a little bit and meet up with the new transom. but I'm not gonna have flotation in the center. And if it turns out I need more flotation in the center, well, then I'm gonna modify this, make it a shallower angle. I'm gonna cover it and I'm gonna coat it with fiberglass on the inside and make it a sealed container out of fiberglass, to where it'll offer maybe another 100 pounds of flotation. And that's about the best I can do with it. And that video will be a while. Like I said, tomorrow if I do any progress on this, I'll update. I think I have most of the lumber already, but I will have to buy a few things. But my mess, man. I just cleaned this yard up too a couple weeks ago, and look all the stuff I got here. I brought my other boat here. I got a trailer, I got a tractor, got my table. Can't keep a yard clean for long. That boat, I was start working on it. I was gonna let me just talk about it while I'm here. I was gonna relocate the fuel filter and fuel hose, reroute it to that box, and then I can put a D-cycle battery in this box with a switch panel in this box. My motor's not charging the battery currently, but I like to have a battery and running lights. That way, at least I can run at night if I had to. But that's another project. This thing needs a lot of fiberglass work. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, this time, thank y'all for viewing. I appreciate y'all, and I'll do an update in a couple days if everything goes right. See y'all on the next one.